I'd like to introduce Jarrett Dargusch. Did I say that
Dargusch,
right?
listen.
Dargusch? Dargusch. All right, there you go.
Ready for the next slide?
Yes, sir.
That's it. Hello, my name is Jarrett Dargusch, founder and CEO of Givunity. For generations, nonprofits have been at the heartbeat of our communities. But today, that heartbeat is fading, and our communities are in a crisis. I have volunteered all over the world. In places like the Philippines and Ukraine, I've served refugees and street children. I would come home feeling inspired. But then, nothing. No follow-up, no update, just a generic newsletter. And this is the reality for millions of volunteers and donors every single year. The experience is broken. We live in the most connected time in human history, but we've never felt more alone. We scroll through endless feeds, but we don't know our own neighbors. We like and share, but rarely show up. We want to make a difference, but we don't feel connected to the causes that need us. People do care. They just don't feel connected to the causes that need them. And this disconnection is being felt. Volunteer rates have dropped 28% in the last decade. We're currently at a 40-year low in giving as a percentage of disposable income. And for the first time ever, we've seen 3 straight years of declining donations. The problem? It's hard to find the right charity. Supporters feel like transactions, events are unorganized, and nonprofits are managing multiple platforms. The result is that people stop giving, people stop volunteering, people start believing that their giving doesn't matter. And that's why I built Givunity, a for-profit, all-in-one charitable platform that makes giving personal, social, and simple. We connect nonprofits with users using AI to match them. We improve engagement with chat and gamification features. We help operations with relationship and event management tools. And we create a centralized charity directory with not only domestic charities, but also international ones, where we enable tax-deductible international donations. And let me show you how it works. Every user will have a profile like any social media site, displaying their impact. They'll be able to discover missions and read more about them. From there, they'll be able to connect with that community, not only talking to that nonprofit, but also joining a group of other volunteers and donors. Nonprofits are able to manage their events, as well as managing their community, getting notified to reach out to their supporters. The nonprofit space is a large and underserved market, with over 10 million global nonprofits and over $841 billion in donations every single year. Our primary revenue streams will be a subscription fee as well as a small marketplace fee. As we scale, we'll add additional revenue streams like in-message advertising and corporate accounts. Givunity is truly unique in its offering, taking best practices from already established organizations and combining it into one unified space. Givunity was founded in August of last year, after I returned from volunteering in Ukraine. That same month, I formed my board of advisors. The next month, hired a CTO and formed my nonprofit. And in December, got accepted into the UCF Business Incubation Program. We're currently set to soft launch here in Q2. I established a strong foundation. I got degrees in finance, business law, and economics, then got my master's in international business from the #1 program in the country. From there, I worked at a startup, landing infrastructure projects all over the globe, turning ideas into reality. And that's exactly what I'm doing today at Givunity. But no great company is built alone. My CTO brings a wealth of experience. He has over 30 years in the software industry, building apps for brands like HP and the Weather Channel. My advisory boards are experts from many different business facets. We have an impact consultant, a business development executive, a marketer from Microsoft, a director of a large nonprofit, and an Accenture software engineer. Our team has put together this roadmap. Stage 1 will develop our core platform. Stage 2 will add AI charity matching as well as introduce a mobile app. And stage 4 and 5 will introduce corporate accounts as well as international expansion, where we'll enable anyone in the world to help communities locally or abroad. Givunity is inspired by the best and positioned to grow. We're currently seeking $450,000 for 3% of Givunity, an investment in the future of philanthropy. Change happens when people come together to connect, belong, and build. Givunity isn't just a platform. It's a social network for making a difference, where generosity fuels connection and where missions can turn passion into progress. I invite you to build a global community focused on local impact. Thank you.
All right, great job. I'm sure we have some questions there. John?
This is fantastic, what you are doing. Great concept. I think your challenge is figuring out the root cause of the problem. I may be able to help you on that, okay? Whenever you're done. Yeah, that's what you have to do, root cause of the problem.
Yep,
You're
correct,
solving it all the way.
Yep.
Unless you figure out the root cause of the problem, it's people related. Few people in the world can help you out on this. They should be right people you have to go after. We'll talk about it.
All right, thank you.
That's it to Rachel.
I don't know if I missed it. Is your MVP done? Like, do you have?
Yeah, so we got some, I did a small family and friends round, so we're going to be launching here in Q2, usually expected at the end of this month or beginning of next. Right now, we're literally just implementing payment processing at this point, and it'll be ready to go. Our first stage will be just working on that one-on-one messaging, where you as a donor can donate or donate to a fundraiser or just donate generally, and then they can reach out to you directly via the messaging system.
And you're for profit. Are you a B corporation or what?
C corp.
C.
During your childhood, did you come from a family that emphasized doing for others, and did you go to countries, foreign countries when you were a kid doing
Yeah, so my dad, from a very young age, is involved with the March of Dimes. He actually sits on the board of directors in the Philadelphia region. I lost a sister to premature birth, so that's why we're really well connected. But from when I was really little, we were really strongly connected into that space, including my mom, who's is sitting on a big for-profit or nonprofit board right now.
Did you come from a Christian family where that was the driving force, or was it just you guys always wanted to help?
Yeah, I wouldn't even just say it's just religious. I think obviously church is a big fueler of volunteer rates, which can also be attributed to the factor why it's declining as well. But as I say, it's for nonprofits, not just charities, right? So I want churches to use this to reach out to their communities, and then for people to start connecting with each other within that community.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what I meant. So when I was circling back to your childhood, I meant if that was the driving force.
Yeah. Well, and I was an experience that I felt often when I would go volunteer or even fundraise sometimes thousands and thousands of dollars for these organizations, and I would just receive a generic newsletter. I would lose that connection. After just having an amazing time and seeing the amazing impact, there's a huge amount of disconnect.
Thank you.
Who's next? Luis.
And that was the
So I'm just trying to understand a little bit. So the organizations pay the subscription fee, but the volunteers and the people who want to donate,
Completely free.
they just sign up?
Yep.
Okay,
Completely
thank you.
free.
Great.
Something in the nonprofit space that I've struggled with is analysis paralysis or the paradox of choice. Right? There's so many charities out there, and I don't trust necessarily that they're actually doing what they say they're doing. So how are you going to manage trust?
So we do have a vetting process. We make sure that they have at least established social media presence online, have been in operation for over a year, have an email that's associated with the company, not just saying @gmail.com at the end. So things like that do help. The other part is that if you're, maybe you want to donate a small amount and get involved in that community and then, filter it out yourself. We can do as much due diligence as we want, but we can't control everybody's actions. We got to control the controllable. So I think from a donor's perspective, when you're hands-on and talking to these people, you start building that trust, right? You start feeling more connected because, once you kind of have those conversations and you start meeting the people that are, behind the donation, then you'll feel more comfortable. And that's another, I think, thought process behind it is that you'll feel more comfortable about giving money to those organizations.
Two things, and you may have mentioned this, but what are the mediums that you're using in your app for the charity or nonprofit to engage with donors? Is it videos, newsletters?
No. It's messaging. So when you donate, you can even send a message to the charity when you donate. They'll get a message and they'll be able to reply directly on the platform. And the reason we keep it all on one email's been largely ineffective now as a means of communication, at least to connect personally with your donors. And two, we have our tracking system lets them know the last time they contacted that person. So we remind them 30, 45, and 60 days to say, hey, these are the list of people you haven't reached out to in a while. Go reach out to them, have a conversation, and then they'll have it all in one place.
Okay, my second question here is, I think that there's an opportunity for people to not just donate money, but time as well.
Correct.
And at times, I think it's very detached, your ability to be able to volunteer time, which you've done yourself. So that might be something that you could expand into, where they can post up, the charity. or the
Yeah.
organization.
So that's already actually in our plans. It's in our
Nice.
core platform. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you looked at if we went back to the charity, I know I go through it pretty fast, but the charity, the user profile has their volunteering hours, which currently doesn't even exist on the market. So we have in our software that they can schedule their events and people can sign up and they can say to the system, okay, this is how many volunteering hours that this is scheduled for. You can apply for that position. They can do any additional vetting. Everyone has a different process, so we don't get involved in that. And then they approve you for that set event. And the point is for us to provide that connection between you and that nonprofit.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Would you be favored to use with products?
Yes, for sure. One second. Okay. So this is the charity profile. So every user, like any social media site, so they'll have their skills, interests. These are badges they'll be awarded by charities for volunteering. They'll have their volunteer experience. It's not showing, but we'll also have your favorite charities and organizations as well on your profile. Then, for example, if you donate to an organization, or up here you can even see volunteering, you will either apply to volunteer or donate, and then from there, join that community. We have groups for fundraisers, for example. So you post a fundraiser, then you're able to join that community for that fundraiser, not only being able to talk in that group, but also be able to individually message people that are also connected to that fundraiser. And then from here, also the nonprofit can also say, thank you, inform you of what your donation's doing, anything that, these are best practices we encourage all of our nonprofits to do, and all nonprofits are being pushed to do because of we're launching here at the end of this month, early next month is the expected time. As in how
KPIs.
So we want to see a higher average donation. We want to see recurring, about a 25% more recurring donor rate too. So once they engage on the platform, that they're seeing a higher percentage of recurring rate. I think we have a low barrier to entry, as you saw, and we mostly make our money off of the platform, off the small platform fee that we have.
Yep, thanks.
Yes.
Would you consider adding grant opportunities for the nonprofit in your content, or are you going to leave that separate?
Yeah, sorry. The problem with the grants is that it is a very highly competitive space already. There's a lot of platforms that do just specifically grants, and one thing I would mention, this is mostly focused on your community and your users, because everybody knows about the rollback of the USAID, right? And the grant opportunities are not going to be as readily available for nonprofits as it was before. So even more than ever, that they need to be focusing on their individual donors and contributors.
Okay. Oops. I think it's unbelievable at your age, you are doing what you are doing is marvelous. I have several teams working like this. One of the best one is Tuesday app.
Tuesday app?
Tuesday
Okay.
app. I will introduce to you. They
Okay.
know exactly what they are doing. Amazing. Husband and wife and their daughter. Okay. So I have at least half a dozen working toward this kind of a concept. So let me spend some time with you. Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Man?
Yep.
So is this an added layer to the nonprofit's business, or is this like how are you dealing with the integration of it?
So right now, that's like the big question that everybody. Oh, is this a CRM? Like, and I say my first answer to that is no, because first of all, when they think CRM, they're thinking of high cost. One, two, we allow every nonprofit to export their data into their CRM. Right now, they're hand putting in all their information. That includes emails. I actually had a story where this guy was when he would go around, he'd make people write their emails, and one of them would be misspelled, whatever. He'd have to go through and cut half the list down every time trying to figure out what email was wrong. And so this will be able to collect their emails, their contact information, all their donation history, and you'll be able to export it to a Blackbaud or Salesforce or whatever CRM that they use as an added layer, right? We don't want to compete. Those are billion-dollar corporations. We're not looking to compete against them.
Gotcha. That was mostly my question. Like,
Yeah.
how are you dealing with the integration if I already have an existing system? I don't know how better phrase that, but that's
Yeah,
kind of
no,
where
I
I'm
understand
at.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and I wanted to ask you, so at the beginning you said when you were on a mission doing what you were doing and then you came back, you felt like, now what?
Yeah.
So how are you helping the nonprofit target like you or the people like you that are coming back? How do you plan on creating that continued
my plan
interaction?
is that, well, outside of like the groups where you're being able to meet actually other individuals that are potentially connected to the group, let's say they're not even associated with the organization but are passionate about the same things, I think that would help facilitate more nonprofit and community engagement. Two, as mentioned, we remind and send notifications to that nonprofit to go send you a quick message, right? So that they're feeling that more grassroots feel, which is what everybody wants to really feel when they donate, right? They want to feel that their donation's actually doing something and it's meaningful, not just a generic insert name thank you letter that everyone gets after a donation. So that's really the goal, and it's really the goal, and I think the more I've heard about it too is that a lot of nonprofits want to stay on the grassroots field, but it's hard for staffing. Well, if it's just a quick app on your phone and a quick message, I think that's much quicker than having to sit down at a desktop, write out an email, which is what they're doing right now, which may not even get read. So that's kind of the kind of hope is that it's just quicker and easier for them to do and integrate.
So is your bottom line then, your goal of this is not only to improve communication with people that have been in the field, but ideally it would be to retain donors for the nonprofit, ultimately increasing donations.
Yeah. So and for your user account, you'll have all your donations there that you can easily print out for your tax guy. It's tax season, so it's but I know I have to go through mountains of credit card receipts and looking for any of my donations and whatnot. So it'll all be in one place for you, as well as your volunteering hours, which may not be important now, but for college kids, and so I know in high school I had to do it as well for getting volunteering hours for service in the community.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Okay, go ahead.
So you mentioned,
You mentioned earlier how we're more connected than ever, but we're also lonelier than ever. And I see this as a great way to increase donations. I'm wondering what else you're doing to address more human connection, like you were talking about.
Yeah, so the thought is that, right, so if you're donating to a fundraiser, you're able to see other people that are connected to that specific cause. The hope is that you're having those interactions on the platform, whether that, you know, with another individual that has the same passions as you, that's getting you to those events, right? A lot of people, especially since COVID, have been very isolated. Florida has been the worst state for volunteering, to my knowledge, in the country. I think we got like 17% of residents of Florida volunteer. The hope is that people that are new to a community can start to interact and get connected, and being able to go past that kind of gap of like, oh, I'm just going to sign up and show up and I don't know anybody, versus being able to actually talk to and communicate with some people that are connected with those specific causes.
Do you see yourself like as competition maybe with like United Way or like partnering with an organization like that?
Yeah, so United Way would be a partner. So they sponsor a lot of local charities. So somebody like that, where you're a foundation that gives money to your local communities, would be a perfect way, because we want it to be more, right. The target's grassroots to start off. Now it obviously has expansion for every large nonprofit has branches as well, right? They try to focus on grassroots. So the hope is that it's, again, trying to connect you with that community feel and community aspect of that. And a United Way, would be a potential sponsor, or somebody that would be they'd be potentially recommending their project, or for the product, because there's a low barrier to entry and we're seeing increased donor retention rates.
All right. So last question. So what can we, as the 1 Million Cups community of Orlando, do to help you?
So first, it's getting connected with investors, because I'm about to do my initial raising, so we can help build out the platform more. And then number 2 would be to connect with the nonprofit community and getting more involved. There's AFP, there's some other things, but there's a real, kind of a lack of like essential. Oh, sorry.
Nah, you're okay. It's like
but there's not really a lot of it has to be kind of hand done. There's not really a great market channel for nonprofits. Maybe outside of a United Way, or that's really would be the main targets. So.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Very interesting. So please remember that we are checking out here in about 10 minutes. So any help you could give us to get transitioned over for Isabella would be great. Like, follow, and share on social media. Tell your friends, bring a friend, invite a friend. Eugene did that this morning. Thank you, Eugene. So make sure you do that. Connect with somebody, as we mentioned. Go to one of the local coffee shops. I've been going to CFS Coffee, which is great. Get the shoot, what the heck is it called? Lavender latte. It's amazing. It's out of this world. It's really good. There's one right around the corner over on, actually literally just through the little breezeway here, over on Church Street. Really good stuff. Next week, we're looking for presenters. I do believe I've got somebody in next week, right? Are you talking next week? All right. So you've got somebody in for next week. And why present? Because you can attract investors, marketing and brand awareness, hiring and retaining talent, networking and partnership, and practice and feedback your pitch and what you're doing, which is going to lead you ultimately to growth, which is where we all want to go. So thank you all for coming. I'll see you next week. That's in 166 and a half hours, 9,990 minutes, and 599,400 seconds. And it's actually a little more than that, because normally we're done in 15 minutes from now. So, all right, all, thank you very much for being here. We'll be back on normal schedule next week. Good night.